This podcast is brought to you by AutoVision and its new AI assistant, Avery. Avery delivers data-driven appraisals, pricing, and detailed strategies for every vehicle. Visit autovision.com to learn more about Avery, where precision meets profit.
Welcome to Daily Drive for Thursday, May 15th, 2025. I'm Jamie Butters, Executive Editor of Automotive News in Detroit.
And I'm Kellen Walker in Las Vegas. Today on the show, Stellantis delays plans to build the new Ram EV. Nissan weighs moving Sentra production from Mexico to the U.S. And the Cybertruck loses its EV pickup crown. Plus, Nissan America's chairman, Christian Meunier, talks about his plans to ramp up production and throughput in the U.S.
We want to grow the business again. We want to get the dealers profitable again.
Let's run through all the news you need to know to keep up in the auto industry.
Stellantis has further pushed out the launch of its first battery electric Ram pickup. The move comes as automakers shuffle product strategies in response to changing market dynamics. The automaker told suppliers this week that production of the all-electric Ram 1500 has been delayed until summer 2027. It informed its parts makers in a memo reviewed by our sibling publication, Crane's Detroit Business. This marks the second delay for the pickup, which had initially been slated to launch in 2024 before being pushed to 2026. The automaker also delayed production of the extended range hybrid Ram Charger. It was set to launch this year, but was pushed to the first quarter of next year. The automaker confirmed the changes in a statement to Crane's Detroit.
Nissan is considering shifting Sentra production from Mexico to its underutilized factory in Mississippi. That's according to a supplier who spoke with us at Automotive News. The move would allow Nissan to avoid paying a 25% import tariff on its number 2 selling vehicle in the U.S. The Sentra compact sedan accounted for nearly 1 out of every 5 Nissans delivered in the U.S. last year. It's among the trio of nameplates assembled in Aguascalientes, Mexico, that make up almost a third of the brand's U.S. volume. In a statement, a Nissan spokesperson said, quote, "We've made no changes to our plan. In a few minutes, we'll hear from Nissan America's chairman, Christian Meunier, about his broader plans to increase production in the U.S.
Honda says there will be no decrease in volume and no jobs lost when it moves some CR-V production from its factory in Alliston, Ontario, to one in Ohio. The automaker said this week it will shift only the production of crossovers for the United States. Honda promised in a statement that, quote, "There are no plans to decrease overall Honda Canada manufacturing production volume or employment." Today, it further clarified to Automotive News that it will shift some U.S. production of the crossover into Canada. Honda didn't immediately say whether all the CR-Vs to be shifted into Alliston will be sold in Canada or if some will be exported to markets other than the U.S.
And Tesla's Cybertruck has fallen on hard times. The Ford F-150 Lightning posted more U.S. registrations in March and the first quarter to retake the electric vehicle pickup lead. That's according to the latest data from S&P Global Mobility. The Cybertruck had 2,170 registrations in March. That's more than 400 short of the Lightning's 2,598. In the first quarter, the Cybertruck managed more than 7,100 registrations to the Lightning's 7,900. And those are today's headlines. So, Jamie, what do you think are the main reasons behind the delay of the Ram EV? Is it slowing demand or the overall economy?
It was probably a little bit of both. Certainly, EVs, especially large, expensive EVs, are getting harder to sell. But also there's some wariness in the overall economy, again, about really expensive vehicles and kind of how those are going to play out. But it's also could have something to do with the lack of a CEO. Stellantis has been struggling, and they might be trying to really make sure they have a solid overall plan to return to profitability before making a big leap into these big, expensive electric trucks.
Gotcha. Coming up, Nissan America's chairman, Christian Meunier, talks about 2 important topics for dealers: throughput and profitability. That's next on Daily Drive.
Just when you think you've priced a vehicle perfectly to sell fast, the market changes and potential profit slips through your fingers after all the work of scouring auction sites, tracking competitor rates, and analyzing market trends. The loss of time and money leaves you frustrated. Meet Avery, your AI assistant from AutoVision. Avery revolutionizes how you acquire, price, and sell vehicles by analyzing every detail, from retail values to market trends. And the best part? Avery doesn't just give you numbers, it explains every recommendation so you know everything that was factored in. Picture this: faster appraisals, smarter stocking decisions, and more profitable sales, all without the exhausting legwork. With Avery, you don't just stay competitive, you lead the pack. Ready to see Avery in action? Visit autovision.com.
Welcome back to Daily Drive. I'm Jamie Butters with Kellen Walker. Christian Meunier likes a challenge. The executive has picked a hairy one for his second act at Nissan. Meunier spent 17 years at the Japanese automaker and left in 2019 to lead Jeep. Now he has returned to help jumpstart Nissan's profit engine, the United States. Meunier spoke with our own Urvash Karkaria recently as part of our Talk from the Top series with North American automaker executives. Here's a piece of their conversation.
Yeah. Let's move on to two big things for the dealers. Throughput and profitability.
Yes.
So right now you have about a 6.5% share, depending on, that's for the brand. If you look at Nissan and Infiniti together, it's about 6.8.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're in Q1 right now. Where would you like to see it in fiscal 2025?
Higher. Ideally, we want the Smyrna and Canton plant to be not at full capacity, but at least 2 shift full speed, right?
Okay.
If not 3. Ideally, we get that, because if we achieve that, we're going to get the cost reduction that comes with it. Going to get suppliers to be happy, and they're going to make money. And when suppliers make money, you can request more support and more cost reduction, etc., etc.
Right.
So we need more volume. We need more volume of Rogue, Pathfinder, Frontier, especially, and Murano, because they're local products.
Right.
The tariff thing obviously is a headwind, but it's an opportunity for us. So I don't know if I want to throw you a number, but we need to grow. We need to get more volume. We need to. I'm not going to say we need to go to 7.5 or something like that, but we need to grow our business, especially on the retail business.
Right.
The fleet business is okay to have fleet business, but it has to be contained.
Right.
I don't want to go crazy on fleet business, especially the rental business. The fleet is good. The real fleet is okay. Rental business is okay as long as it's contained within the parameter of 10% of your volume. It's okay.
So maybe on the retail fleet share. The retail share.
Retail share.
Yeah. Where would you like it?
Ideally, we need to gain 0.5 percentage point from where we are now.
And it's doable.
Yes.
How do you do that?
I do that by keeping the dealers engaged, because they are engaged today. I don't know if you talked to a few dealers lately, but I have touch points with the dealers all the time, and they reach out to me through my phone, or we have dealer council, dealer board meeting. And the last one was a week ago, and I asked the dealer board a very simple question: what is the level of engagement of the dealer network today, Nissan? What was it in January when I started? What is it today?
Right.
And that was beginning of April. They said in January was 2 on a scale from 0 to 10, and now it's 8. Not at 10, but the momentum is there.
And you keep them engaged, how so?
We're very transparent.
Yeah.
Tell them the truth. Tell them what we can do. Tell them what we can't do.
Right.
Because I think we owe them that.
Yeah.
There's so many things we can do. We don't have unlimited resources. Especially, we're not Toyota.
Yeah.
We don't have as much resources. But I think it's all about communication, working together, prioritize with them, like the programs. What do we keep? What do we get rid of? How do we simplify their life? How do we make that easier for them to work with us? Because they always complain that Nissan is hard to work with, which I agree. We have too many KPIs, too much stuff that they need to track, which doesn't add a lot of value. So we need to remove all this, make their life easier, so that they can focus on selling cars and taking care of the customer and make money. The good news, profitability was 0%, 0.5. In March was 2.5.
2.5. Okay. This is dealer
profitability. 2.5 return on sales. Obviously, it's not the whole sample. It's like 25 or 30% of the sample, but it's encouraging. Profitability is better, so we need to keep that going. And I'm involved a lot I'm supporting Meunier on this all the time because that's half of the story. Dealers engaged, dealers focused on the brand will bring better salespeople, better general managers. They will put the resources in.
And then from our previous conversation,
Yeah.
the other side of the equation is getting the right product to market at the right price.
Yes.
So you want to talk a little about that?
So you've seen that we repositioned Rogue and Pathfinder at a time when the tariffs were announced, and people said, "What are you doing? Right? You're crazy." No, first we took U.S. product, right? We didn't take Mexicans or Japanese products, so we took core models for us, Rogue and Pathfinder, which for a lot of reasons, good or bad, had been overpriced. MSRP visual price was too high. We talked about it. So we decided to price them down to get them at the level they need to be. And we did that knowing the tariffs were coming. And we did that because there was poor conversion between the traffic we got on our website, the configuration, the stock search that people do on the website, and didn't translate into dealer visit, showroom traffic. So we investigated, and the price was an issue because the visual price was too high. So we decided to adjust price.
So that's one way to drive the volumes.
Yeah, it's one way to adjust the volume, and we adjust price, but we reduce incentive, which also give us potential residual value good news because we know that incentives are detrimental to the residual value, which is, lower residual means more incentive needed to be competitive on leasing, right? Yeah. So it's a vicious circle. So we try to get out of that vicious circle we've been in. At the same time, we work on what we call the car flow, which is, how many cars, based on the market expectation by segment, how many cars do we expect to sell? How many do we need to produce? What trim level do we need to produce? For which region? So I'm putting a lot of pressure on being a lot more granular in the United States, big country. Northeast, very different from Texas, very different from California.
So fine-tune the supply.
Oh yeah. Fine-tune the trim that we send in different regions. So I'm putting resources beyond IT system to get the right cars to the Northeast, the lease market, New York, New Jersey, lease market. Lease market means what? Payment. It's all about payment. So you can have the most beautiful car. If your payment is out, people can't afford them. So payment is king. So get them the right trim with the best residual that people want to buy. Don't give them a two-wheel drive. In the Northeast, you don't give two-wheel drive. You give four-wheel drive, heated seats. Simple things, right? We go back to basic stuff like that. So we ship the right cars to the right market at the right time. Put the right resource behind it, incentive-wise and marketing-wise. So I'm not having production being built without a plan behind it. If there is no plan, I don't produce.
Okay.
Right?
So you're saying you're comfortable with the fleet share. You don't feel like the fleet share needs to be reduced. When I say fleet, I mean rental.
A fleet share, I think we need to be around 10-12%.
And what is it now?
It was a little higher. It was 15-16%.
When? At the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
Calendar year.
And even in March, we did 18%. But that was the end of
it. Okay, that's better. So in March, it was about 18.
But there's seasonality because they want the cars in the spring season. So it peaks and then it stops.
So you'd want to see the fleet come down a little bit.
The rental, 12%. 12-14% is fine.
From where?
From 18.
From 18, okay.
Yes.
And so on the flip side, the retail, where would you like it to be?
I think it would be good if we could achieve a 5% market share at the end of the calendar year.
Okay, and right now you're at 6.5?
No, today retail share, if you look at only the pure retail, was slightly below 5.
Below 5?
Yeah. So that's half a percentage point that I'd like us to achieve, which is, it's not easy, right?
And this is all, are you just giving me Nissan shares? And the goals are for Nissan, or is it for Nissan Motor Company?
This is Nissan,
not Infiniti.
Yeah, not Infiniti.
Okay.
Infiniti is roughly 0.2 plus of the total market.
And where would you like that to be?
Infiniti is a challenge because our portfolio is small, but QX80 is doing super well. You know, just to give you an idea, when I came, December we're at 4% of the segment. Now we're around 8.
Because of the redesign.
We double.
Yeah.
No, the same car.
Oh, same. Okay.
New car, the new QX80.
Okay.
We did some adjustment. We changed the advertising. I don't know if you've seen the new ad.
Yeah.
The QX80 with the jet.
Yeah. I saw it on LinkedIn. Yeah.
More aggressive, in your face, the beast, That was my brief.
Okay.
Said, this thing is not only about cool and comfort and premium, it's about it's a beast. People buy in this segment because of the presence, the size, the power, and it works.
Do you think 1 million units in the USA is achievable again?
Sure.
Or is that not even on your radar at this point?
It's not priority number one, but of course. It's what we need.
By when?
I can get, as soon as possible.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. As soon as possible, because I'm a firm believer that scale, once again, is super important. Right. And I need the factories to be pumping. And we have the people. We have plant. You've been to Smyrna, yeah?
Yeah.
We have super good people, super talented. The workforce is good. The leadership is awesome. They can do it. Quality is super good. Did you know that? That drives me nuts that nobody knows that. IQS, JD Power IQS. Since 2017, Nissan has been ahead of Toyota and Honda.
Wow. Okay.
Not bad.
Initial qualities.
Yes, initial quality. And on VDS, we still have some work to do. VDS is long-term durability. Still have some work to do.
What's VDS?
VDS is vehicle dependability.
Okay.
We're making a ton of progress.
Yeah.
We're above industry average. We're behind Toyota, but we're ahead of Honda. And Murano was number one, and Kicks was number one.
So the 1 million number is the sweet spot for you to achieve the scalability that you feel is critical for Nissan.
I think over time,
Yeah.
But I don't think it's stopped there. I think Nissan is a volume manufacturer.
Yeah.
It's a key player. And I think the sky is the limit. If we do the right thing, get the hybrids, get the localization of next generation Rogue, get the Infinity version, because we're working on this as well, to get that localized in Smyrna.
Yeah.
Get scale again. We used to sell 400,000 Rogue.
Right.
8 years ago, right? We sell 200 today.
Yeah.
Why? The product is not the issue. It's everything else.
The badge. Yeah.
It's everything else. It's the brand, it's the marketing, it's the mindset, it's the fighting spirit, it's the car flow management that I just explained. Feel the wrong specs, send the two-wheel drive in the north, the all-wheel drive in the south, the heated seats in Miami, and no heated seats in the north.
So
Anyway.
we talked about profitability, and you kind of gave me a good stat for what it was in March versus the beginning of the year, from 0.2. This is dealer profitability. 0.2
to 2.5.
To 2.5 in March.
Yes.
Where do you see it at the end of fiscal 25?
I'd love to take it above 3.
Above
That
3?
should be the goal. To be competitive. Industry is around 3. That's what I want. We need to be at least at industry. So that at one point in time, I want the dealers to reinvest in Nissan, get their best people to Nissan. That's what I want.
Good. Speaking of that, this ties into the next question. This has been a hot topic lately, where the dealers are saying, at least some dealers are saying, that the network is sized for a 8% market share, which you're not at.
Yes, true.
And they feel that there's too many dealers and they would like to see the network shrunk so they get more throughput. Is that realistic from your standpoint?
No.
And why? And why wouldn't you want that?
Because Nissan is an 8% market share kind of brand in the US. So there's no point in... There might be a few markets where we're over-dealered, but it's not the issue. The issue is the throughput. We need to fix the throughput. We're a brand that should be a 7 or 8%.
Right.
Obviously, we can make a few adjustments. We're not going to spend hundreds of $1 million. Some dealers were saying...
In terms of buying out the dealers.
No, it's not the right thing to do. We want to grow the business again. We want to get the dealers profitable again. That's not, I've heard a few dealers saying, we need to shrink the dealer by 50%. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe in some markets we'll adjust here and there. Yes.
But you're confident that you can get to that 7 to 8?
There's no reason why not.
Nissan America's chairman Christian Meunier spoke with our own Urvax Karkaria as part of our Talk from the Top series of interviews with North American automaker executives. You can read the full write-up on that conversation at autonews.com. That's Daily Drive for today. I'm Jamie Butters.
And I'm Kellen Walker. Thanks to Automotive News executive producer Jake Neer, as well as our own Hans Greimel and Lawrence Iliff for their reporting for today's podcast. We also have reporting from Kurt Nagel of our sibling publication, Crane's Detroit Business. You can get the latest news on manufacturing, electrification, and everything happening in the auto industry at autonews.com.
Come back tomorrow for a conversation with Andreas Hecht, Senior Vice President of Mobility at CCCIS, about why there's a need for more manufacturer-certified collision centers.
You can't explain to me how the same number of shops that were repairing vehicles 10 years ago are sufficient to repair a larger car park with more complex vehicles today.
We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the show and the topics we covered today. Send us an email at dailyDrive@autonews.com or leave us a voicemail at 313-444-2774. And if you enjoy the podcast, remember to like, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.